Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. To all my regular regulars, thank you for coming back. To all the new subscribers, my name is Pamela Msoni and I continue to share my journey on my relocation as a nurse to Ireland. So today it's just going to be a quick one, straightforward, straight to business. I just want to talk about something that's been lingering or something that's been bothering me for a while now that I heard, and I just thought maybe I should come to you, especially those who will be relocating to Ireland soon, and give you just some information and maybe a few tips on what to expect when you come here. There's been a big issue around around competency. So when you look up the word competent in the dictionary, it says having the necessary ability, knowledge, or skill to do something successfully. Then when you look at it according to the nursing board or the governing nursing board in Ireland, the NM, which we call the NMBI, we're saying competency is understood as the attainment of knowledge, intellectual capacities, practice skills, integrity, and professional and ethical values required for safe, accountable, and effective practice as a registered nurse or registered midwife. So I'm sorry, guys, I think I just got into it. So yeah, it's a serious issue that's been just everyone's been talking about it, but no one's come out to say anything about it. FYI, there's actually a county, or should I say a province or district, I don't know what a county is equal to back home, but there's a certain part of Ireland that actually does not want to see African nurses at this point in time. They are African nurses, a lot of them are not passing their adaptation once they've completed the RCSI exam, because we've all, or before we came, we all thought once you complete the RCSI exam, you are home and dry. But you find that there are hospitals within Ireland that have got a hospital policy that says even if you have done the RCSI, you are still to do adaptation for 6 weeks at the hospital. I would testify of that because I did that. I did the RCSI. After that, when I got to the hospital, we were told the hospital policy is 6 weeks adaptation. So on that 6 weeks adaptation, they want to just see that you are competent enough to work in their environment. Remember, these people don't know the kind of training that you've gone through. The way we are trained in Zimbabwe and the way we would be trained in a first world country is very different. So they're probably worried, are we competent enough? Are we able to do the job? Are we skilled enough? Are we, they want to see all that. So that 6 weeks is a time where they'll give you like competency papers where they'll tell you what they expect of you within the 6 weeks, and then they'll regularly review it. You'll have an initial meeting with your, maybe the clinical instructor, the equivalent of the clinical instructor back home, and the nursing manager of where you're working on what they expect of you, and then they'll let you work with they'll call it supernumerary, meaning you're working under the guidance of another nurse who's been there for a while, who will be showing you the ropes. Obviously, they know that Zimbabwe or Kenya or Botswana or South Africa is very different from Ireland. So they will show you the ropes in terms of the way things are done here, and they will just want to see whether you are learning, whether you are copying on. When you say cop on, that's an Irish slang to say, are you they want to see, when they say, like one Irish nurse said to me, all we really want to see when you get here is, are you able to cop on? Meaning, do you have the ability to work here? Will you be able to go with the, what can I say? Will you be able to get into gear with the way things are done in Ireland? Basically, that's what they mean. So, yeah, so most of them, they will tell you that we see this within the first week that you start work, that you're going to be able to cope on. This is just having the ability to be aware of something, that okay, this person they don't know, or they've never experienced or worked in an environment like this, but they can definitely get into it and work as one of us eventually. But the challenge comes now when you work and you're not just grasping whatever they're teaching you. So like I said, you start with an initial meeting where they tell you the expectations. You'll have an intermediate meeting where they tell you how far you've come. Maybe it's 6 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. They'll tell you, okay, in the 3 weeks that we've been with you. And bear in mind, if there's any issues before the intermediate meeting, they'll sit you down and talk to you and tell you what they expect of you. In the intermediate meeting, they'll tell you the good things that you've been doing and what they want you to work on, and then they're expecting that at the end of the 6 weeks you are now fully into the system. the basics, because I don't want to lie, you learn every single day in this world, and even they learn as well. It doesn't mean that just because they're in a developed country they know better than us. We all learn something new every single day, because the conditions we come across are very different, or the scenarios, or the, like, whatever happens in the workplace changes every single day. It's not the same thing every day. Anything can happen anytime, so we all learn. But the important thing is being able to take away something from that learning experience and use it in the future. So yeah, so like I said, when you arrive in Ireland, a lot of things are very new, guys. I don't want to lie to you. With me, there were things that I didn't do back home that they do here as PEDS nurses, or as nurses in general. And bear in mind, again, this is very different with every hospital. I could be doing this in my hospital, but you might find I've got a friend in Limerick, or in Dublin, or in Cork, or in Waterford, who doesn't do, who maybe is also a PEDS nurse or a general nurse, but wouldn't do the same things I do. So what I'm giving you today, or what I'm sharing with you today, is basically based on my experience. So I'm going to just discuss, first give you tips on how I think you should approach it when you arrive here, and the things that, and just share a few of the things that were very different from me, so that you have an idea when you come. Because it's so heartbreaking, guys, to hear that, 3-4 nurses from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, will fail their adaptation, and you're stuck because you've probably made a big sacrifice. You've left your whole family, you've sold your property to just come here and start a new life. Fine, chances are, if you've got your NMBI registration, you are not going to go home. Let me repeat that again. You are not going to go back. If you've passed your RCSI and you've got your registration certificate with the Nurses Board in Ireland, you easily get maybe a job in a home or somewhere else, or in the community. But then it's stressful, guys, because already the move on its own coming here is such a big thing, which I feel like sometimes the people who are here wouldn't recognize or realize, because they've never been through it. And then you get here, and in 3 weeks they tell you, oh no, sorry, you're not competent enough to work with us. Please look for a job somewhere else, or please don't report for work. Because they've got the right to do that. It's like probation. It's like those 6 weeks, they are looking at your way you're working, the way you're adapting, and the way you're kind of communicating everything. Like I said, I've given you the definition. Its competency is understood as the attainment, the knowledge, the intellectual capacities, practice skills, integrity, and professional and ethical values required for safe, accountable, and effective practice as a nurse. So basically, they want to know that you're not a dangerous nurse. Once you show those red flags, guys, I don't want to lie, I've worked with, in the 2 years I've been here, 2 people have left. One because of that not being able to adjust to the new environment, or just showing what can I say, showing dangerousness skills, like, and that really worries them. Whereas with me, where I work, we work with children. You're basically nursing the parent and the child, so you've got a double job, and it's hard to, once you show those, they can't trust you. They're not going to be happy to keep you, no matter how short-staffed we are. So anyway, when you arrive, don't oversell yourself. Another challenge I've seen, these are things, now I'm talking about what I saw on my arrival. There are people who have their data. There are people who know their stuff. One thing I've seen, those people that you, like, when you get here, they're asking themselves, okay, what qualifications does this person have for them to be here? I don't know. Maybe they might feel threatened. Maybe they might not. But they're still interested to know, why is this person here? Are they qualified enough to be here? Do they have the necessary skills to be part of our team? So once you oversell yourself, or you act like you know too much, I feel that becomes a bit, I don't know, it's not the right picture to give. Don't oversell yourself, but at the same time, don't undersell yourself. Show that I have the ability to work in this environment. I have the necessary skills. I have the necessary, I know I am professional enough. I know the necessary ethics, but don't overdo it. I've seen, like, once you come across as, oh, I know this, I know this, I know this. It's not a bad picture in any environment, even back home. Just lay it low, learn as you go, because things are definitely different. Don't be there, oh, I know how to do this, I know how to. Once you do that, there will be an attitude towards you in the workplace generally. So just play it low, learn from those who've been there, integrate with what you know already, and then you'll be fine. Then another thing, play it smart. I've also noticed that there are people who are generally nice when you start. There are people who help you. There are people who show you. There are people who won't go behind your back and say, oh, she asked me this, she didn't know this. One big thing here is, if you don't know, ask. Don't just do what you think, because once you make a mistake, you're in big trouble. The best thing, if you don't know, make it known that, you know what, this you've asked me to do, but I'm not competent enough to do it, or I don't have the skills, or I didn't do this back home. May you show me how to do it, or how do I do it? That will always be the biggest advice I could give you. One. Two, try to read the energy of the people around you. The people who will be around you just to see, what does she know, what doesn't she know. In every workplace, people will go around your back and talk about you once you are new in a place. So for me, I was lucky enough that the few people who were around me when I started were very nice people, and I was able to bounce back on them that, oh, this, and I was more on the quiet side, but I was learning a lot from the people I saw, that, okay, this is how things are done here. Whenever I worked with them, I asked them all the questions. Whenever I worked with people who were free to share information, I asked them all the questions that I had. So it helped me in a way. And then also, don't get involved in, every workplace, there are conflicts, there's talk, there's gossip. Don't get involved in that, especially in your early days. Just steer clear, avoid that, because those are some things that could get you into trouble for nothing. But generally, I'll say it in Shona, when shit hits the fan, meaning kuti iwo kana usiri wekunoko, and wowanikwa uri munyanya iwo ndo unosara wakamira uchionekwa kunge une problem. Saka what I'm saying is, each to their own. Iwo focus on what you are there for, and keep your eyes on the prize. And then, so one other thing that was my motivation, guys, for me when I started, it was stressful. You could see that abantu babele mbuzo ukuthi kanti lovela udinga la, uyarutswa ke panapa, anima qualifications. I was the ndindeka ndandimunomthemba imnyedo ngamuntu omnyama khonapho. So you can imagine ukuthi babezibuza ukuthi uze yena lo azofika lapha ufunde okunganani, kana takadzidza zvakadii. But then you realize that nursing is universal. If you've got it in you, you just adjust within 3 weeks, 6 weeks, you're part of the system. So keep your eyes on the prize. Your biggest motivation is your money coming in at the end of the fortnight or at the end of the month. The things that I found very different in Zim, I'll share this now. I'll share 10 things that I found very different from Zim, not in Zim, from Zim compared to Island. The working hours. When I started initially, the thing was, our shifts are 8 to 9 p.m. And back home, we would do 7 to 4, or you're in 1 to 8. It was 8 hours basically. So here it's 12 hours. So that's hard on its own. Remember, you've come, you've relocated, you're depressed, you miss your family, you miss your children, you miss your partner. 12 hours on your feet. Guys, this side, I won't lie to you, people work and you're on your feet for that. You could be on your feet for that 12 hours if you have to be. You will probably really rest when you're on your breaks. So that was the main thing. That was, make sure you know your hospital policy. If your break is 1 hour, it means it could be 15 minutes for tea, it could be 45 minutes for lunch. Stick to your breaks, because sometimes that's another thing they're looking at. Can you adhere to rules? And then beds. Guys, we are from a developing country and you've relocated to a developed country. Just the beds, the patients' beds are very different. They're adjusted by remotes. We had the rail ones where you just press something underneath and then we put the rail down. Or, we didn't. Here we've got or just plain beds. Here they are the remote adjusted beds where you elevate them with the remote, either at the head of the bed or at the feet of the bed. We've got maybe you want to prop them down, and then sometimes there's a button that you click to slide off the rails. It's so those are things that when you come, you're struggling with the bed like for 10 minutes. So either when it's quiet, move around your ward, familiarize yourself. Fine, they'll show you some of these things, but they'll be also looking like, oh, they didn't even have this type of advanced beds. You don't want to show so much that, okay, this is new. But anyway, those are some of the things to me that were, even now we still get new beds and I still get confused. Okay, this one, how do we do it? But now I'm more confident to try and in the beginning you'll be scared, like, I'm going to break this or I'm going to do that. Now I can maneuver it till I figure it out myself. But then initially tell them, no, we didn't have these advanced beds back home, or just figure it out yourself. Then another thing, every patient here is put on a monitor. That is because the technology is available, or those monitors are available. Back home, monitors would be only for ICU patients. So on the monitor, it will read the SATs, it will read the heart rate, it will read the blood pressure of the patient. And it takes time to learn how to adjust this, because sometimes the alarm will beep the whole night and your workmates are getting annoyed, or the patient you're taking care of and the mother or whoever is getting annoyed. So you need to know how to adjust those monitors pretty soon, because alarms will ring and you need to know what you're doing. So that's the other thing. Every patient will have a monitor to monitor their heart rate. And then urine dipstick machines. Back home, we used to do the dipstick, just put the stick, take the container, check, compare the results. That's it. But in here, we actually have a machine. The container will be there that shows you what the normal results are. But the machine basically just reads, like, kind of just tells you, prints out a copy of what's normal and what's not. So that's the other thing that you need to learn. So these things, you can even look them up before you come. Urine dipstick machine, how to use it. You'll find that the machines are different with every workplace. The one you see online might be very different from the one that will be in your workplace. But those are some of the things that we use here that are back home. Like I said, we just used to dip the stick in the urine and compare on the bottle. But here you have the machine that will actually just dip it, put the stick in the machine, and then it will give you the result. And then how to operate an AED or a defibrillator, depending on where you're working. Once again, with me, where I work, there's an emergency room. So we do have a defibrillator or an AED machine if need be for resuscitation purposes or whatever. So you need to know how to do that. But with that, don't worry much. Once you get there, they usually show you how to use it, because they know, once again, that they are very different with every place. There are different types of machines. And then have basic computer knowledge to check, like, blood results. Most of the time, when patients come in, like now it was COVID times, every patient would be COVID swabbed. The following day, you have to check the COVID results. Every patient that comes in, bloods are done. You have to check the bloods within an hour or 2 hours. So you have to have basic computer knowledge. Fine, you can gain more skills once you're here, but just generally know almost all things are done on the computer. With us, we even triage because of the emergency room. You need to know how to triage on the system and print. So just have basic knowledge of these things. Another thing would be an ECG machine. When I came, I don't lie, I even said it to our clinical skills instructor that I have no idea on how to use the ECG machine. I would look it up on YouTube and stuff, but I'd still get confused. It's only when you actually do it that you actually realize, oh, it's not that hard, or it's not that bad. So another thing, don't be scared to do things. Get into it, learn. When there's a chance to learn to do something that you don't know how to do, just take it and learn, so that one day when there's an emergency and they call you, go get this ECG machine, you're confident enough to do it. So yeah, that's another thing. ECG, look it up on YouTube. Just have a basic know-how on where the leads are supposed to go and which rhythm. The main rhythm you're supposed to know, or that they'll be looking for, is the sinus rhythm. Anything else will be abnormal, but don't worry much about the abnormal. Till once you know the normal, then you know that this is not abnormal. The doctors can take care of the rest. Then also, another thing that we have in the hospitals that we didn't have in Zim is a pneumatic system, or a chute system, where we're sending blood samples, COVID swabs via a chute. So it's just like a pneumatic system tube, that you just put your request and your sample in a little container, and you put it in, and it goes. It's sent, like, pressurized by air, and it's sent through, like, in a vacuum, and it goes up to the lab or wherever, or to another ward, or wherever you want to take it. Another thing that's also very different, nebulizers. We've got what we call aerogen nebulizers this side, which they say deliver about 6 times more medication to the lungs than the normal ones that we used to put. We just used to have the mask. Sorry for that. So let's round it up. So even there's something called EVO, which administers high flow oxygen to patients. This is warmed and humidified respiratory gases. We give oxygen 2 to 6 liters per minute, and even nebulized with this machine. That's another thing that was very different that we didn't have back home. So all in all, what I'm saying, guys, is there's a bit more technology, or there's a lot more technology than there was back home. Once you come on, yes, they're going to train you on all these things. You're going to go for trainings. You're going to have people show you in the workplace. But you also need to learn. Like, they have to see that it's sinking in, because they'll give you maybe 1 or 2 or 3 chances where they're doing it with you. But there'll be a day when there's an emergency and it's so busy, and they expect that by now you should know how to do this, and you're thrown into the deep end. So I just did this video just to help the people who are coming, that these are the things to look out for. Please guys, when you come, just less talking, more learning. Okay, fine, in as much as they don't want you to not be able to stand up for yourself, be the balance, have a balance. Don't be too loud, don't be too quiet, but be in between and learn once you arrive here. I hope this helps someone. Yeah, and all the best to all those who are coming. Stay prayed up. I don't know, with me, I always tell you guys, make sure you pray when you come. This journey is not easy. We're still on it as it is. Even though I've been here 2 years, you still face certain challenges here and there. There'll still be hiccups. Stay prayed up. So thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, please share, please subscribe.